Okay, moving on to conveyance problem number 8. Again, we're on page 73, and we're just going to read that fact pattern together. So it starts, A owns a 50% mineral interest, 50% of the minerals under Section 6. And A then grants, bargains, sells, and conveys and warrants to Baker, B, the minerals in and under. So this is not a royalty interest, which would say produced and saved. It is saying exactly that we are conveying the minerals in and under the following lands. And then it goes on to describe the land as Section 6, but then it says it's reserving unto grantor, unto A, an undivided 1/2 interest. Now, if this is sounding familiar to you, this is exactly what happened in the Dewey versus P.V. Moore case, that 1940 Texas case that talked about what happens when you are not clear in your deed what your interest is. The court is going to assume that you own a 100% interest unless you tell them otherwise. And think about it this way. If you took a deed from someone or purchased a property, and it said that I'm conveying all the minerals, would you think you were getting 100% of the minerals? And yeah, typically you would. Unless A tells you otherwise, there's no way for you to know, unless you do a search at the county records, there's no way for B to know what his interest is. So generally, we're going to assume that A has 100% of the minerals. So A is then conveying to B. A is conveying to B all the minerals. Okay. Reserving a 1/2 interest. So that means B is going to get 50% and A is going to get 50%. Well, wait a minute. A doesn't own 100%. A only owns 50%. So what he's doing is he's saying, I'm granting and conveying all the minerals, of which I own a 1/2 interest, and I am going to reserve unto myself an undivided 1/2 interest. So the court is saying if you have 50% and you sell your half, you are conveying 100% of the interest that you own. So when he says granting and then reserving, the court says we can't do both. We can either grant or reserve. But if you only have 50% and your interest is half, and you're saying you're giving all the minerals, there's no room for you to reserve. So therefore, the result is going to be that A gets nothing and B gets 1/2 of the minerals. So B is getting that 50%. Okay, this is exactly what happened in the Dewitt case. Okay, and the way you fix that is through good drafting. Had he said, grants, bargains, sells, and conveys and warrants to Baker my interest in the minerals. Okay, now we have a clue that maybe he doesn't own 100%. But if he says just the minerals in and under, now we've got a cloud on title. Or some confusion at least that's going to work against A. The other thing he could have said was that the minerals in and under the following land, Section 6, reserving unto grantor an undivided 1/2 interest in the minerals under Section 6, so that the result would be grantor would have 25% and B would own the remaining 25%. See, when you're ambiguous in your deed, you're going to cause some ambiguity, and the court is going to read that in favor of the innocent purchaser, in this case A, who thought he was getting all the minerals. That's what happened in P.V. Moore. P.V. Moore thought they were getting all of the minerals. They thought they were getting everything that Dewig owned, which Dewig owned 50%, so they thought they were getting all of 50%. Dewig was really trying to say 25 for you, 25 for me. But the result was the same. Dewig got 0 and B got the 50%. Everybody clear on that? Dewig versus P.V. Moore. What happens when an interest is over-conveyed without spelling out in the deed what the actual interest is? So be crystal clear when you write these deeds, or these warranty deeds. Okay, moving on to number 9.